See that cute little sprite there on that little bow, the little homage to Shade Man from Mega Man 7? You wouldn't guess from those that this is actually the most consistently challenging fight of the main 8 stages. So we move into the second half of the main 8 stages with Thong Mei Ling. We're not using the C word here, not allowed. And despite being a joke character, she is strong enough that Tassifero is using her to show us that, hey, we're not screwing around anymore. Hanemu and Yuko may have given you breathers, but we're ramping the difficulty back up to 18 levels. And in this stage, they do exactly that. They have a few minor inconveniences and one stretch of particular hell, is in addition to the standard stretches of nothingness that we're used to from the previous 2 stages. This stage, for those of you who happen to follow Raokao's Super Mario World LP, I mentioned in the video for stage 222 that something about stairs are really scary. People should write more horror stories about stairs. He was referring to this stage. This stage is designed to make you hate stairs. Because this stage spends a lot of time shoving things down at you from above stairs and making them try to run into you. This first set of stairs isn't too bad. There's a second flight later, though, that is truly terrible. It's a huge pain in the ass. The main attraction amongst the stairs and the rest of the stage, really, are the fairy maids that we've seen running around. Not the ones that are flying around, not the little ones, the larger ones. The ones that come in 2 kinds, one on the screen right now. There's the blue ones and the red ones. The blue ones aren't too terribly difficult. They take a couple shots to kill, but rather than the one that most flying fairy maids take. But all they do, they run and then they stop and they fire a few shots at you. Nothing particularly threatening. The red ones are the ones you need to watch out for because they take 3 shots. Oh no, one more than blue, you might be thinking. But they also, instead of running and stopping and shooting, they run and then they jump at the same speed at which they've been running. Their goal basically is to run face first into you. And I don't think there's a single thing in this game that does more damage by shooting you than running into you, so they're definitely the larger threat, especially since jumping tends to get them out of the way of you shooting them. That last little stretch there, if you don't want to use the broom to just jump over everything, your best bet is to ignore mailing entirely, take a shot from a fairy maid, and just keep on plowing through. This second section here, this is the big nightmare of this stage, and we're going to see this again later in another stage. Something similar. It's going to make you hate stairs even more. This section just is, you've already seen, is a lot busier than the previous stairwell, in that it's still throwing maids at you, throwing them at downstairs, so it's a little bit harder to hit them, and they'll occasionally jump as well, and maybe they'll stop right where you need to land. But it also has the really annoying fuzzy turrets that are shooting bullets every which way at a constant rate that you have to make sure you're avoiding whenever you can. And it's also sending the yin-yang orbs down on you. Now those things, they do, if you let them just straight run into you, they'll do as much damage as the red ones in Remu's stage did. So you really, really do not want to get in the one's way. They can be useful for things like that. You can actually jump on them safely. But heaven help you if you get hit by one, because you're going to lose a lot of health. And then there's just one last little fuck you to from that turret guy right there. This next section, this here group murder of crows, steely thing going on. Blah, 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 I can talk. After defeating the bouncing fairies and the maid fairies and whatnot here, the rest of this can actually be done in one straight movement. You can just completely run non-stop underneath all these crows if you're good enough with jumping that you know how to short jump so you don't run into them, but you still manage to jump across the pits. The reason I don't do that here, there's also the save spot here, that if you chicken out and decide you don't want to do it anymore. The reason I'm not doing it here is because I'm trying to life farm. The second stairwell went pretty well, but I'm still not in great condition to fight Remilia, so I wanted to see how many of them would drop power-ups. By the way, with all those crows there, where the hell was Aya? I think it's total screw job that she only appears twice in one stage, and that's it. This last room, I don't know what Tassifero was thinking by making it so that Alice's laser pierced the Risen River's weapon shields, because Merlin by herself is completely trivial. You can just stay far away without activating anything near her, and just blast her through her trumpet with Alice's laser while her sine wave attack does little more than tickle you. The coup de grace of this stage is my favorite fight in the entire game. This fight is full of action, basically non-stop movement, Remilia flying all over the place, has a huge variety of attacks, and uses most anything that she likes from most any position. And she mixes it up really well too. And this battle is a good chunk of everything, including the hanging from the ceiling, shooting a whole bunch of shit attack, which she doesn't use terribly often. If you're lucky, most of what you'll get here is the non-hanging from the ceiling, the normal bullet spam, and dashing across the stage back and forth. Unlike Mega Man X5, when Sigma was dashing all over the place, at least when he dashed across the ground, I think it's similar to him dashing diagonally. Remilia's streaks will not hurt you. She'll only hurt you if she runs bodily into you. The bat attack there, that can be streamed. The bats won't hurt you on the way out, but they'll hurt you on the way back in, so make sure to stream them away from you. The dive attack down there, you can be dodged in one of two ways depending on your position relative to her. If you're really close to her, you can jump over the two shots that are going to come at you. If you're far away from her, like that, you can jump over the two shots right next to you. If you're far away from her, you can actually jump in between them. So I think I do a little of both in this battle. The normal shots like that, just dodge them as you normally would, not terribly difficult. This final section, she normally doesn't start it off by firing from the bottom of the screen. She normally jumps and then fires stuff off. This old Scarlet Meister, whatever the hell this is, I forget exactly. Or maybe it's Scarlet Kentoku. I think it's her final spell card in EOSD. This is not particularly hard to dodge, but it's also kind of boring because it's just a whole bunch of bullet spam. It's not nearly the high-flying, zooming around the screen action that the rest of the battle was. But overall, this is a very challenging battle and a lot of fun as well.